Number 2, revenue losses from de minimis abuse. Improper classification and undervaluation of imported goods to qualify under the de minimis threshold result in significant revenue leakage and unfair market competition. Number 3, misclassification and misdeclaration of value. Importers may deliberately misclarify goods and understate their value to reduce tax liabilities. The implementation of the Enhanced Value Reference Information System, or EVRIS, is a critical measure to detect and prevent such practices. Number 4, inefficient customs procedures. Now, bureaucratic inefficiencies and corruption within customs operations can cause delays, so to say. Increased transaction costs and create loopholes that facilitate tax evasion. And number 5 is smuggling. This is unauthorized importation of goods, bypasses customs controls entirely, evading duties and taxes, and posing risks to public safety and national security. We would like us to note that based on the study of the government in 2016, tax leakages from oil smuggling was estimated at 26.87 billion. Okay. These are our performance of past tax reforms. Next slide, please. Okay. For the revenue impact of BIR revenue regulation numbers 009-2025 and 010-2025 on reduced corporate income tax rates and VAT procedures under the Create More Act, affected ports have reported an estimated revenue loss of 3.2 billion pesos due to the shift in the collection of local taxes from the BOC to the BIR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, in 2024. Next slide, please. Okay. As of September 30, 2025, the BOC successfully conducted 60 seizure operations against smuggled agricultural products with approximate worth of over 473 million pesos. These operations highlight the agency's commitment to protecting local farmers, ensuring fair competition, and securing the nation's food supply in line with RA number 10845, or the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016, and RA 12022, the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Act, which classified large-scale agricultural smuggling as economic sabotage. Next slide, please. Rice tarification law.
What are you gonna say more about that? What was the impact of that? The law? The anti-agriculture economic sabotage. May nahuli na ba dyan? May nakasuhan na ba dyan?
Yeah, we have, the BOC actually has some seizures po, Senator Pia, and I'll go to that later. Pero on the slide for the cases filed po.
Okay.
Rice tarification law. The BOC regularly submits a quarterly report to the Department of Budget and Management, copy furnished the Bureau of the Treasury, Department of Finance, Department of Agriculture on the collection under rice tarification law. The table shows the volume and collection from rice imports for the period of March 2019 to September 2025 under rice tarification law. For January to September 2025, that was the one highlighted in green, the tariff revenue from rice importation is 13.372 billion, rounded off the nearest billion. From March 2019 to 2025, September, the total tariff revenue from rice importation is 146.878 billion pesos. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. For Executive Order number 62, with respect to the rate of rice, revenue loss from July to December 2024 due to the implementation of EO 62, which reduces the tariff rate of rice from 35% to 15%, was 15.348 billion and 14.103 billion for January to June 2025. Please note that the date of effectivity of EO 62 for rice is July 2024. Next page. Yeah. Executive Order number 62 for motor vehicles. Revenue loss for July to December 2024 due to the implementation of EO 62 reduces the tariff rate of motor vehicles importations. Selected HS codes under tariff heading 8702, 8703, 8704, 8711 to 0%. It was 7.610 billion pesos, and for January to June 2025, the revenue loss is 10.624 billion.
Sorry, can you educate me? What kind of motor vehicles were subject to this reduction or removal of tax? Do you know? I'm just curious.
Hybrids. Normally, it's the hybrids,
okay, I was gonna say,
hybrids
okay.
electric
Okay,
vehicles.
so but there's a positive side because it's the hybrid cars naman.
Yes po.
Okay.
But for the revenue side, we're suffering from that.
Sige, maybe we can ask, maybe DOF? Did DOF do some calculations on what is the value of the transition to more hybrid cars in terms of cleaner air and all that? Usually have these numbers, diba? Anyway, if not between you and is it DepDev who should show us the numbers, diba? Because there's always going to be this complaint. Like I wouldn't be surprised if later on, if you don't meet your targets, you're going to point to this and to change tayo ng policy. But then there's a lot of positive that comes out of it, right? That's precisely why you have that EO.
Pia, we do not have that cost-benefit analysis.
But madali naman
Yes.
na magkaroon tayo, di ba?
Yes.
Sige, let's do it, ha?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Permission to proceed, Your Honor. Next page, please. Now, this refers to Executive Order number 93. The estimated revenue loss on rice imports due to the 60-day suspension provided under EO 93 amounted to 4.042 billion based on 2024 actual figures and 3.4 billion pesos based on current market price. This impact covers a period from September to October 2025. Okay. Next page. This is about fuel marking. Based on the data of the BOC, volume of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene products increased by 77%, while duties and taxes collected increased by 179% since the implementation of the fuel marking program in September 2029 to the present time. Compare this to the date in 2018 prior to its implementation. Well, declared fuel has continued to increase up to the current period. Okay. Following are the slides and the mechanisms implemented by the BOC to stop tax leakages. Next page, please. Okay. On pre-arrival stage, to ensure the success of its seashore operations against illicit trade of smuggled goods, the BOC remains steadfast in implementing a multi-pronged approach which includes the following. Okay. Accreditation of importers and customs brokers with the Bureau. Number 2, inspection of offices and warehouses of importers and customs brokers who wish to be accredited by the BOC. Those found non-existent were immediately denied or disapproved of their accreditation. Number 3, advanced profiling of incoming shipments through the cargo tracking targeting system and the risk-based screening. 4, advanced monitoring of incoming vessels through the utilization of Indo-Pacific Regional Information Sharing and the Dark Vessel Detection System of Canada under the National Coast Watch Center. And number 5, advanced profiling of importers and exporters to the National Customs Enforcement Network. And lastly, continuous calibration of selectivity parameters or processes to adapt the needs of trade facilitation and border control. Next page, please. Okay. Upon arrival of the shipment, we have the following measures. 1, profiling of shipments through risk management system, whereby large import entry for a particular shipment will undergo selective process. This system initially determines which shipment will be subjected to examination, either intrusive or non-intrusive, or documentary check, or it can be released immediately. Okay. Number 2,
Of shipments nga are subjected to this kind. I'm just curious. Like, what do you consider? Which ones do you consider? Ayan, kailangan tingnan natin. Like, is it because it's a safety hazard? Is it because it's a high value?
yeah, when the shipments when the container will go through an X-ray, it will be identified if the contents of the are questionable. So from there, it can be rated red.
That's my question. What is questionable? Is it questionable because they don't align with the declaration, or it's questionable because these are high value items? I'm just curious, what is it that triggers your further scrutiny?
Ma'am, if I
Yeah, please.
may help my colleague. There are several factors that we look into to establish the risks that go with the importations. One, of course, will be the origin of the shipments. If the origin, like traditionally, for example, China, that will be of a higher risk, and before also when it comes to drugs, Cambodia, Vietnam, but recently also from the US, things like that. So the origin of the importations will be main factor, and then the historical data on who the importers are will be profiled, and then although later on I will help with the discussions on using digitalization and how we can use AI in determining instantly the profile and the risks involved in the importations, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Permission to continue po, ma'am. Number 2, immediate issuances of pre-lodgement control order, alert order, and hold order against shipments with derogatory information relative to smuggling. 3, utilization of body-worn cameras by BOC frontliners to ensure transparency in the conduct of customs examination. 4, immediate cancellation of BOC accreditation of importers and customs brokers for forfeited shipment found to contain smuggled goods. And 5th, immediate filing of corresponding administrative and criminal cases against importers and customs brokers found violating anti-smuggling laws. Okay. Next page, please. Okay. After the release, we have the following measures. A lawful exercise of visitorial power through the issuance of the letters of authority against imported goods openly for sale or kept in storage, warehouses, or establishments with derogatory information for selling or storing smuggled goods. 2, periodical inspection through security, survey, and inspection of all accredited condemnation facilities to ensure compliance with minimum BOC requirements for said facilities. And 3, use of electronic tracking of containerized cargo or the e-track system to trace shipments destined for free-port zones to avoid illegal diversions. Okay. Next page. Okay.
That, no, let's discuss a particular issue. Yung sa kotse ni La Discaya, ano yung kwento doon? Like, I know you're taking actions now. I've read the papers. But how does this happen? Pumasok ba yan sa Freeport Zone? Hindi na-detect ang pagpasok? Kasi syempre mainit sa mata yung luxury car. Laki-laki pa. So, how does that even happen?
Yes, ma'am. There were 3 ways or methods on how the 30 cars that we were able to
Record whether it's just Discaya or some other
Yes, ma'am.
hoodlum out there, no?
That's right.
There's more out there, for sure.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we're looking
Or we're
into
using
the
that example because that's what's in the news.
yes, ma'am. We're looking into the 15 listed contractors that are allegedly involved in the the ghost projects, the infra projects. So there were until today, but there were 3 ways that were used by the importers for these cars. But we categorize those 3 ways. One, those that came in with a tampering of the import entry system, meaning yung pinaka parang birth certificate ng kotse, ma'am. So, wala yun, with no import entry and then no certificate of payment. That's one category. Number 2,
Stand
Yes,
it,
ma'am.
no, and have a relevant discussion and, if necessary, legislation. Can you repeat that phrase? Exactly what you just
yes,
said.
ma'am. The first category would be those that entered without an import entry,
Okay.
and then at the same time, there's no certificate of payment.
Okay. So when you say they don't have an import entry, so as of now, you cannot trace kung paano pumasok yon. Is that what I mean? Kasi hindi mo nabigyan ng, wala silang
Yes, ma'am.
proof na pumasok ng maayos. Import
Yes, ma'am.
entry, I'm just taking
Ma'am,
it from its logical,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. What does that
Mag-example
mean?
ako, ma'am, para mas maintindihan.
Sige.
For example, one case, hindi lang yan, ma'am, to rewind.
Oo, yeah.
Yung Bugatti, for example, before. Ang sasakyan, literally, we suspected pumasok, for example, sa Batangas Port.
Okay.
And then, the import entry, doon naka-lodge yan to,
Okay.
of course, to the IT system.